big question, because this is what this is all about. Who taught you about menopause?
Mostly me. Google.
Tell me a little bit more about that. How?
Actually, probably more Instagram. I think over the last 18 months, just
Yeah.
my feed has changed, and
Interesting.
there are more people of my age group talking about the peri-menopause
Yeah.
and the impact of that. And I say the last 18 months, but I think probably it was coming into my psyche at around 40, but I wasn't really taking heed because I wasn't noticing any of the symptoms. It wasn't affecting me at all. And I wasn't that interested because I think one of the things that has served me very well is my mindset and positive mental attitude. And there was a kind of belief I had that if I just was focused, stayed healthy, and thought positive, menopause wouldn't touch me. So I thought,
Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but you know what? I don't think that's an uncommon thought,
yeah.
you know? Hello, my lovelies. How are you? Welcome to Menopause Whilst Black, the podcast that is committed to sharing these menopausal stories of Black people in any stage of menopause, primarily based in the UK. My name is Karen Arthur, and I am your host and founder. And I want to know how you are. I hope you're well. I hope that you are looking after yourself. I'm recording this on a quiet Sunday evening. I've definitely spent the day wintering. I've got my cup of chamomile tea, and I'm excited for you to listen to episode 10, the penultimate episode of season 7. So I will stop rambling and I will let you get on with it. And I will see you on the other side. Okay, bye. Hello and welcome to season 7 of Menopause Whilst Black, the podcast that is committed to sharing the menopausal stories of Black people, primarily based in the UK. My guest today is Suzy Ashworth. Suzy is a single mum of 3 children, high school dropout, author of Sunday Times best-selling book, Infinite Receiving. Suzy is a success coach who has sold over 6 million in revenue since 2020. She both certifies coaches, helping them to go from good to world class, alongside helping them to build businesses that change lives, focusing on simple, smart strategies, the energetics of business, and high ticket selling. Her vision is to use the infinite receiving framework to help people to be more of who they were put on this planet to be, creating more freedom, joy, abundance, and peace, one infinite receiver at a time. Suzy's work has been featured in Forbes, Grazia, and the BBC, to name but a few. Welcome, Suzy.
Thank you, Karen. It's great to be here.
It's lovely to see you. I see you from afar doing wonderful things. You've just finished a weekend, and what was that you finished?
Yeah, it was a 3-day event called Infinite Receiving Live, and it was incredible. I don't know, I've been doing events now for about 6 or 7 years,
Yeah.
and there was just something that was special about this event that I can't quite put my finger on. I wish I could, because I would absolutely bottle it, but there was such a vibe in the room with all of the women in the community. It just, it felt quite incredible.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. I guess you're still processing it, but
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank
So,
you.
Suzy, so we want to hear a little bit more about you. What makes Suzy tick? Tell us about yourself. Who are you outside of all your accolades?
I think I am somebody who is just naturally curious. I am really interested in people. I'm really interested in the world. I would say that I'm a natural explorer, and that manifests in study. It manifests in just being interested in people's stories. I like asking questions. I'm not afraid to answer the deep questions, and also places. Like, I'm never happier than when I am getting on a plane and
Okay.
going off to visit somewhere.
What's the favourite place you've ever been to?
Oh, that's so
I know
difficult.
that's a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, Ibiza changed my life. It changed my perspective on the world and what was available to me. And so that holds a very special place in my heart.
Okay. Okay. And what is your heritage? Where are your parents from?
Nigeria.
Okay. And were you born here? Or were you born? I say here. Were you born in the UK or were you born elsewhere?
Yeah, I was born in the UK.
Okay. And where are you? Where are you based now?
I am on the Kent coast, so just close to a little village called Whitstable, and so that's really nice. I spent 15 years in London, and I was fostered at the age of 3 months. So we lived in Greater London to start with, and then my foster parents moved here when I was 8 years old, and so I did a lot of my formative growing up in Kent, and then I was in London for 15 years. Travelled around the world for 4 years. Although that's now 6, I spent a couple of years in Mexico and Spain. So it's
Wow.
been, I've been here, there, and everywhere.
Wow. What made you? I'm interested for personal reasons. Why did you move out of London? Because it's so amazing. Why would you possibly leave? As people
Yeah.
ask me.
I mean, I love London. I've seen a lot of cities, and it's still, I think, my favourite city in the world. So I really love it. But we moved when I was pregnant with my third child.
Oh
And
God.
I think that I just wasn't using it. I think that London is a young person's place. It's the clubs, it's the pubs, it's the galleries, it's the shows. I wasn't doing that as a mother of 2 kids with a third on the way. And the idea of navigating on the tube steps with another buggy, it just wasn't appealing to me. And I think also just with a son, mixed race, we were living in southeast London, and I think that at the time I felt it might be safer for him if we were not in London.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And how old are you, Susie?
46. Actually,
Who
I'm not
taught you?
46. I'm not 46.
Are
I'm
you lying to
45.
me? Oi!
I'm 45. I'm 46 next week. So I don't know when this is going to be airing, but it's just before my
Okay, you're
46th birthday.
46.
I'm not. I'm 45.
Okay. All right, you heard it here first. Susie is 45 in this moment, but
Yes, it's relevant.
people who are listening to this, she's 46. Anyway,
Oh!
so big question, because this is what this is all about. Who
Yeah.
taught you about menopause?
Mostly me. Google.
Tell me a little bit more about that. How?
Actually, probably more Instagram. I think over the last 18 months, just
Yeah.
my feed has changed, and
Interesting.
there are more people of my age group talking about the peri-menopause
Yeah.
and the impact of that. And I say the last 18 months, but I think probably it was coming into my psyche at around 40, but I wasn't really taking heed because I wasn't noticing any of the symptoms. It wasn't affecting me at all. And I wasn't that interested because I think one of the things that has served me very well is my mindset and positive mental attitude. And there was a kind of belief I had that if I just was focused, stayed healthy, and thought positive, menopause wouldn't touch me. So I thought,
Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but you know what? I don't think that's an uncommon thought,
yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, okay, go on.
So, yeah, over the last 18 months, though, I have had
Mm.
to take it more seriously because there have been times where I have felt like I'm losing my mind. You know,
Yeah.
I
Tell
think
us.
my number one symptom is brain fog. And
Okay.
it's losing words, losing names, and losing things like keys. And it was one day in particular where I could not find my keys in the
Mm.
whole of my house. It didn't make any sense to me because it was my car keys. I'd driven my car. I'd been to pole dancing the night before. I'd driven my car home from
Mm.
pole dancing.
Yeah.
I could not find my keys anywhere. Weirdly, that with that story, I ended up walking to the pole dancing studio, and actually my keys were in the studio. And
Right.
I'd managed to get home because I don't need a key for my car to
Yeah.
start. If the key is close enough, the car will start. So the car
Right.
started. So, but I had to get a taxi to get the kids to school. Yeah, it was really, it felt like I just did not know my own. I, I was worried that I had dementia actually.
Mm. Well, that was gonna be my next question, I suppose, because we talked before you came on here about, how busy you are. You're doing lots of things, and you're used to, running these amazing events, high ticketed events, speaking to people about, infinite receiving, all that kind of stuff. You know a lot of things, and a lot of it, yes, you'll write it down, but you also have it in your head.
Mm,
Losing your keys, it seems like such a tiny thing. It seems like almost a funny thing in
mm.
retrospect. How did you feel? How did that make you feel?
Petrified.
Hmm.
Really, like even it makes me even feel thinking about how I felt at the time makes me feel emotional
Oh,
because it just didn't make any sense. Like I
yeah.
thought, am I going mad? Is this dementia? Um, um and actually it was listening to I've listened to a couple of interviews, like long form interviews about how the brain works
Mm.
and the hormonal changes and how it's not an uncommon thought. That actually reassured me a lot.
Yeah, good.
What I should probably do, I've never been one to track my cycle,
Okay.
and I still have a cycle.
Mm.
I feel like it's one of those things that I should do to
Yeah.
notice if there were any patterns in terms of when the brain fog is at its highest. And because interestingly enough, I would say over the last few months, it's not been as bad. Whereas the last couple of days, probably because I've just had a bigger bed and I am
Yeah.
tired anyway, I've
Yeah.
noticed more the losing of words. Like, who's that person? What is that we're trying to say? Whereas actually at the event, I'm speaking for 10, sometimes probably about 10 hours a day.
Mm.
I didn't
Mm.
lose a single word.
That's interesting. And it's interesting that you're noticing that as well. I remember losing words and not, well, this was over a decade ago, so I didn't know it was linked to perimenopause, but I just
Mm.
thought, oh, well, that's just me, and
Mm.
then nearer the time, thinking I was losing it, thinking I
Mm.
had dementia. You think all sorts of things, don't you? And it's
Mm.
it's it's really scary. And I
Yeah.
feel that we don't understand, exactly what's going on. So did you discuss this with anybody else, or did you discuss your menopause with anyone else?
My sister, actually,
Is she
yeah,
older or younger?
she's younger by 2 years.
Okay.
And so discussed it with her, who also has symptoms, but not as, it doesn't feel like they're as pronounced as mine.
Hmm.
But she definitely understood. Not so many friends.
Okay. Do you know, was that a conscious decision or just the way it worked out, do you think?
I think it's really hard to describe what you're experiencing. So it's
Yeah.
only now where I've got some friends who have moved on to HRT, and I know, oh, okay, so we can have this conversation because they are this far
Yeah.
along the path that it kind of makes sense. But when
Yeah.
you don't know somebody, also when you're like literally doubting whether you are going mad,
Yeah.
but how do you
Yeah.
have that conversation? You have a conversation about the keys. You have the conversation about, oh my God, I've left my, I've walked out of the pole dancing studio and I've left my shoes there. Or I'm going
Mm.
to thing and with it for a specific reason and I've forgotten the thing that I need to take for that very specific reason. So you talk about that, but not
Yeah.
now I would say probably it's a joke. Oh, it's a perimenopause.
Yeah.
It's a perimenopause. Oh, I've forgotten this, so it's a perimenopause. But
Mm.
not really serious conversations with people,
Mm.
especially not about how it feels
Yours.
to be
Yeah.
like, I'm changing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you think you have any other symptoms? Have you noticed anything else that's changed physically or in your head? And when I
No,
say in your head, I don't mean you're making it up. I mean, mentally.
no,
I love
I,
the way you said it like that. No.
no. I don't think so. I mean, I feel very healthy, very strong. I'm fitter than I've ever been.
Mm.
I was wondering about my moods, but there's really only because I've got teenage kids, tweenage and teenage,
Oh,
so
goodness.
they push my buttons sometimes. And then my ex-husband, he has a great way of like bringing out the lioness. But outside of those those flashpoints, I feel quite
Mm.
reasonable.
Good.
Um, yeah, so no other symptoms.
So you've given the indication that you're quite a healthy person. What does that mean
Mm.
to you? What does define healthy? Because your healthy may be different from mine. So
Yeah,
what do you
strong.
think you're doing or have done, and how long have you been doing that for, that may be helping your perimenopause symptoms?
Yeah, well, at the beginning of the year, I started a challenge called 75 medium. So it's a
So,
variation on something called 75 hard. And what
okay.
that involved is 2 workouts a day for 30 minutes, one indoor, one outdoor. So what that actually,
So that's sorry.
yeah,
So that's medium. Medium is
yeah,
2 workouts a day.
yeah,
I don't even wanna
for
know
half an
what hard is.
hour.
Oh, Lord.
Hard,
Okay.
hard is 45 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Do continue. Sorry, I that blew my mind.
yeah. So what those workouts translated to is essentially me walking twice a day for half an hour,
Oh, I
once in
can
the
do that.
morning before I went out, and then usually quite late at night. Sometimes it would be me on the Peloton. Other times it would be me going to a pole dancing class. I do that twice a week. But
Mm.
most of the time it was walking twice a day. I think that was revolutionary. Revolutionary for my peace, calm, my not just necessarily fitness, but
Mm.
just there's something about walking for an hour a day every day that
Mm.
did really well for me. So
Mm.
that I've been pole dancing since February 2023. So
Okay.
about 18 months now. I think that for my strength, my core, my shape, my physique,
Mm.
I credit pole dancing with shifting a lot of the middle age spread that was
Right.
developing.
Right.
And now I have a personal trainer. So personal trainer once a week, where that I do weights with.
Mhm.
So I felt fine. I feel
Oh,
like,
I love that.
yeah,
I love
I'm
that. And
feeling great, Joe.
does your diet reflect your
Sometimes.
ah! I love that.
So when I was doing the 75 medium, I wasn't eating any sugar. I now no
Okay.
longer drink alcohol. I've not drunk alcohol since the 1st of January. So I'm
Mm.
very proud of that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there was no sweets. There was no, because I've got a very sweet tooth. So
So have I.
yeah, that was super helpful. I'm now not doing 75 medium. So
Mm.
there's more carbs. I've got a feeling that I should probably be letting go of gluten, but I'm not ready to do it because I love scones, I love bread, I love anything bread based. I adore. So I'm like, I'm resisting it right now. But if I feel I'm good at listening to my body, and I think that if I'm consistently feeling bloated or just not myself, I will let it go.
So
It's
this
knocking.
so this is interesting because this sugar thing, I have a very sweet tooth. So you
Mm.
just told me you've got a sweet tooth, and then you told me you've given up sugar. And I'm like, but I decided to not have sugar for 21 days because I eat a lot of sweets.
Yeah,
I hold my hands up. I love cake. I love chocolate.
yeah,
Um, and I felt like it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me
yeah,
at all. My teeth don't like it. My skin doesn't like it.
yeah.
But here you are. So yesterday was my first day. Can I just say I thought about sugar all day. I thought about chocolate all day. I thought, and when I got into bed, I thought, oh my God, you did one day, 20 to go. How do you have any tips or tricks that helped you to let go of your sweet tooth?
Yeah. So do you allow yourself natural sugars?
Yeah, I'm not don't make
Yeah.
me do that. Please. We'll have to stop the interview right now.
Yeah. So yeah, my focus was refined sugar. So I looked for
Yes, sir.
natural replacements, a little bit of honey.
Okay.
So I would have things like Greek yogurt. If I'm craving sweetness, it'll be like Greek yogurt, and bananas with a little bit of honey, and maybe even some raisins. So it's stuff like that. It's naked bars instead of naughty bars, or
Okay.
deliciously Ella. So I find replacements for my things. However, I will go on retreat in December. And then for the
Mhm.
whole of November, I will have to be strict, and that will even be very little fruit.
Okay. Okay.
I think that my biggest thing, so like with alcohol, is my other symptom, by the way, actually, is my skin, hormonal skin spots, breakouts.
Oh.
That is definitely a symptom, which is annoying. Stuff like that. If I drink
Yeah.
loads, I'm going to see it in my skin. So it's really remembering why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But also, the first 3 days are going to be the worst for you. So we can get past the first 3 days, then introduce your
Yeah.
substitutes. Your taste buds are going to change as well.
Okay. All right. I just wanna stop thinking about it all the time, like, yeah. But, yeah, I miss biscuits and cakes, and I suppose it's not so much in my house. I don't have that stuff in my house. It's going out. I'm going to the theatre tonight, and I'm gonna want something. So, yeah,
Take something
we'll
with
work.
you.
Yeah.
Go. So get your good snacks. Basically, that's my number one recommendation.
Okay.
Go and get like a big packet of mixed fruit and nuts,
Okay.
and then munch
Okay.
on
All
that
right.
instead
I'm
of your
allergic to nuts,
popcorn.
but I'll find something else. But
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay. All right. And what difference does it make to what difference did it make to you not having sugar?
I definitely lost weight. Not that I
Okay.
need to lose weight, and I never do it because like I don't have scales and I have. The only time I weigh myself is when I'm in a hotel, just
Right.
because I'm nosy. So, but I like feeling.
Mm.
I like feeling healthy. So whether this is it's a mindset thing. It's like I know that eating like bloody
Yeah.
refined sugar isn't good for me. So when I'm not doing it, it makes me feel virtuous. That's enough. And I'm still
So
enjoying my life, you know. If I
yeah.
felt like I was depriving myself, as in I wasn't enjoying life, then I wouldn't do it. But You know,
Mm.
I'm a subset.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So, have you consulted a doctor, or are you not there yet? Do you think?
I it's like it's not that I'm not there yet. My first step is doing the Dutch test. That's the thing that I've said, because I'd like to know what is actually specifically which hormones are in or out. So that is my first step. I haven't prioritized it.
Okay.
Why have
For
I not
somebody who doesn't
prioritized it?
know, can you explain briefly what the Dutch test is?
Well, you could probably explain it better than me. I think it's a test that it measures your hormone levels, right,
Yeah.
in your bloodstream. But it's quite a
Yeah.
detailed one. It's one of the better ones. I think it's about £230. You take your blood, you send it off, and then they will give you a detailed report on your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, what is going on in your body. The other thing about this, though, you'll probably correct me here, is that I hear that you have to do it at a certain time of the month in order for it to be accurate, and it's most accurate. So, is that
Right.
true?
I
You
have
just
no idea. I'll put my
okay.
hand up. The expert I know, when the minute you said Dutch test, I thought of my friend Pamela Windell,
Oh,
who's
she's
a
in.
women's
I know
right. So,
her.
as a women's health coach, she's amazing. She's
Yeah.
amazing. She was my first guest on Menopause Whilst Black
Yeah.
back in 2020, season 1, episode 1. Amazing woman. And yeah, so I know that she works with Dutch test. I also, it's interesting because we're interviewing during World Menopause Awareness Month, and it's been the most interesting madness. I'm not going to, in terms of, who agrees with who about what your menopause care should be. So there are the other side to that is the media pitting these people against each other. So there's the HRT gang, and there's the natural menopause gang, and then there's people who believe that Dutch tests are just a fad, and other people who
Right.
swear by them. So it's interesting.
Interesting.
That's why I wanted to know what you were doing.
Really. Mostly moaning
And I
about
suppose
it.
the moral of that is you do what works for you, and
Mm.
that's it. No one can tell you, no one's going to tell me what I should do,
Mm.
but I will try certain things. And
Yeah.
then if they don't work for me, I'll move on to something else. And I advise everybody to do the same thing
Yeah.
with everything in your life. But at the moment, we're talking about menopause. So let's go there.
I feel like diet, health, sleep,
Mm,
water,
mm,
all of the basic foundations support you with everything.
mm,
I'm
mm,
you know, to get better on the water. Try to do 2.5
mm.
liters a day.
2.5 litres. You must live in a loo.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, I'd go for a litre. I think I manage a litre most days. But yeah, I mean, common wisdom, you do what works for you. But certainly water is, we all need to drink more water. We're often dehydrated, and that will affect, water will affect every part of your body and your mind as well. So yeah, absolutely agree. So you're doing everything how you consider to be naturally. What else do you do that helps you? Or what else do you think about your life has helped you move through, or is helping you move through this phase of your life? Because you're moving on to another chapter, I suppose, as you go through menopause.
But it's funny that we had that kind of little back and forth about my age. But the reality
Mm,
is that, with the exception of my birthday last year, which I did not feel good on, every
okay.
year I look
Mm,
forward to the next year. I am not afraid of maturing. I really feel like the best years are yet to come.
mm,
And I
mm,
think that is really, really important. Like,
yeah.
yes, I get to be in the best shape of my life as I move into my 50s. Like, yes, that gets to be the best next decade. So I think that is really important. I meditate, I journal. My self-care is high. Like, yes, I
Peak.
work a lot, but I also, I am another bath. If I go to a hotel, if I don't have a bath in my room, that's the first thing that I'll do. I'll phone down to reception and be like, can you switch my room, please, so I can have a bath? Like, I know how to look after me, and I do. Yeah.
Where do you think that's come from? Have you had to learn that later in life, or is that something that you've watched other people do? Is that from childhood? What brought you, do you think, to this attitude and this the way you approach life, which is joy and abundance and curiosity? Where's that come from?
Ooh. I don't necessarily think it came from my parents, my foster parents. It didn't. But my foster mother passed away when I was 19, and then my foster father at 23. And I think that who they were incredible human beings, but I
Mm.
don't think that they died feeling like they had really lived life. And
Oh,
so that for me is a big driver, feeling like that I've lived it, I've sucked the juice out of it, I've really
yeah,
gone for it. So that's
I love
definitely
that.
part of it. And then, in the book, Infinite Receiving, I talk one of the pillars is the pillar of support. And I think that I moved through life probably up until my 40s, feeling like I was completely unsupported, feeling like I had to carry everything on my shoulders. If it wasn't going to be me, then nobody would do it. So there's a lot of martyrdom, and also strong black woman.
Yeah, I
I've
was
got
gonna
it. I'm
say that
good.
that comes from necessity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we feel like even now, I would say, I mean, I don't wanna cut you off, I do want
Mm.
you to continue, but just that whole thing about asking for help feels like it's the last thing you do because
Yeah.
you're so used to doing things on your own,
Yeah.
but sorry, do carry on.
No. So what I realized is if I wanted to have the impact that I desired to have in the world, I first of all needed to
Mm,
get better at asking for help. You know, the
yeah,
more you ask for help, the more you receive. It's as simple as that.
yes.
And two, it was like the idea that I've been able to navigate this life without anything bigger guiding me, supporting me, holding me every single step of the way. It's like I had this realization: I've never been on my own. I
Mm,
have been supported and held spiritually from day dot, before day dot.
yeah,
And so really leaning into that. And I think that with those realizations, there's also the acknowledgement of what is supportive to me. What can I
mm.
do to support myself? I'm in the dating scene now. A lot of who
What's that
I interesting. But when I think about who it is that I want to call in,
like? Mm,
I want to call in somebody who is a match for really looking after me, which means I have to really look after myself. I have to
mm,
really, I have to pamper myself for me to be
mm,
for a match to see me and be like, this woman needs good pampering, good taking care of. So
yeah.
it's just that has been it's been growth for me. Yeah.
Mm. I mean, it's a whole nother podcast talking about dating when you're older, but let's not necessarily go there. I want to ask you, this is a question just for you. What is infinite receiving?
Infinite receiving for me is a philosophy for living.
Okay.
It's about being able to move through the world, magnetizing all of the things that I desire, and then so much more. And there's so
Mm,
much more. What I mean by that is understanding that there are infinite, beautiful, powerful gifts in every single moment, even in the chaos, even in the lesson, even in the tragedy, even in the nightmare moment. There's a gift for me to be to receive. And the more I'm able to open both my mind and my heart to see that, the more I receive from this life. I talk about it from a perspective of the book and the philosophy is about widening our perspective so we're able to see more. The more that we can see, the more that we can receive. And so it's the lessons that I've learned, the pillars that have supported me in being able to widen my perspective and open myself up to so much more than I thought was ever really going to be possible for somebody like me.
Yeah. And why do you think it's important for others? Because obviously this is part of your purpose, isn't it? This is something that you feel strongly about for yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important for us? And is it specifically important to women or Black women or everyone?
I think that this is important for everyone. I
Yeah.
believe that if we were to embrace even just the first pillar, which is the pillar of infinite greatness, and what I mean when I say that is to know that your unique fingerprint matters, that
Yeah.
there is only ever going to be one version of you in this in the lifetime of this planet,
Mm.
and that's remarkable. That's incredible. And so frequently we move through this world looking at everybody else, being, I just wish I was a bit more like that. I wish I was a bit more like that. I wish I was a bit more. It's like, do you not know who you are? And whether you are somebody who is destined to speak on stages and influence thousands of people, or you are somebody who is destined to impact your immediate community, your family, your kids, your friends. Can you imagine, like, if you were to go into prisons and educate the offenders who felt like they were nothing, who felt like they'd been forgotten, who felt like they were useless, and taught them what is required to unlearn all of the stories that they have learned since they were a baby about their not enoughness, about how little value they held unless they had the right car, the right watch, this, that, how much that will change this entire planet. So often people are like, yeah, that sounds amazing, but I don't. Am I really allowed to say that I'm great? And I'm like, yeah,
That's scary.
yeah, it's scary because we've been told, don't shine too brightly, you're going to steal some light from somebody else. Don't shine too brightly, somebody will come and cut you down. And my belief is that when we own our greatness, it's not until we own our greatness that we're truly able to see the greatness in somebody else. And that is not
Okay.
from a pedestal perspective. That is from a namaste perspective. The light in me sees the light in you. So this, for me, it removes the pedestal, and it means that we treat every single human being that we meet with the reverence that we should be treating them, because they're a unique, special, never to be repeated person, whether it is the cleaner, the fireman, the policeman, the speaker, everybody is a king, everybody is a queen. It means that
That's
nobody's
beautiful.
special and everyone's special. Just that lesson, and the tools to let go of the stories that stop us from knowing that stop us from living from that place, that would change everything. And that is, yes, it's for Black women. Yes, it's for Black men. Yes, it's for our children, but it's for the planet. Change everything.
Wow. Wow. I'm ready to vote for you now, by the way. I'm ready. Where do I sign? Honestly. But honestly, I feel like I'm listening to you because I remember 10 years ago when I left teaching, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression,
Mm.
feeling obviously incredibly low and not seeing the light in me. That's
Mm.
basically it. And finding, as I've grown and changed and become postmenopausal and started to do all the things that I'm doing, speaking up, is that I also find it really scary. And I realize that the comparison, first of all, is something you've mentioned. That's, I think society wants us to compare each other because they want us to be fearful so that we
Mm-hmm.
will buy more things,
Mm-hmm.
to bring us to the level that we think we should be at.
Yeah.
But also that, just being able to recognize that, okay, well, being scared shouldn't stop you. You just do it scared.
Yeah.
You just, I have that it's not constant, but there is a certain, I'm scared of being seen. I'm scared of people thinking I'm showing off. I shouldn't be sharing my joy and all that kind of stuff.
I
And I'm
don't.
realizing that that's important. It's important to share that. It's important to show up, you know?
100%. You get to be the model, not the mirror, the model for what is possible. I think that was what was such a incredible part of my last event. There were more black and brown women and faces in my audience every time I do an event. And so often people are like, the reason I'm here is because I've seen the way that you show up, and I don't see other dark-skinned black women doing what it is that you're doing, talking about what it is that you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you are a permission slip for me and a model for what is possible. So if I did a pole dance on Saturday, and God, it was so scary. And afterwards, I had this huge vulnerability hangover. It was like, I can't believe I
Yeah.
just did that. If I'd have
Yeah.
been at home, I would have gone under my duvet and just sat there and just breathe. But I had it was 9:30 in the morning, and I had a whole day of content to deliver. So
Yeah.
all I could do is say, I know that you think that I did that because I'm really confident. Actually, that scared the life out of me. And right now I'm freaking out a bit. So just bear with me. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it was so powerful, I think, for people to not just see the audacity of doing a pole dance at a business event, but hearing also that it wasn't easy. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I still get
It isn't easy.
palpitations. Ah,
It isn't. I mean, I did a similar thing with burlesque for my, what was I, 62 this year. So the week before my
amazing.
47th birthday, I basically celebrated by taking my clothes off in a room full of strangers and my daughter. And and it and my reasoning for doing burlesque with Hastings School of Burlesque, shout them out, is because I was watching my body changing and
Mm,
noticing that I didn't like it. I was
mm,
what I was avoiding mirrors when I was getting changed, and I thought, well, my body's going to change. I haven't. It's not a weight thing. It's a redistribution thing.
yeah,
And so I could feel myself not liking it. I thought, no, I can't. I need to nip this in the bud. What's the best way to nip it in the bud? I'll take my clothes off.
yeah. Celebrate it.
And
Look at
so
that.
it's
Love
so
it.
scary. Like, you feel sick. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that everybody listening has to go off and do burlesque and do pole
But
dancing, although I will say that pole dancing is next on my list. However, there is something about, I don't know, facing your fears and getting through that and noticing that no one died. What's the
nobody
next thing?
died.
Like, if you can do that, what can't you do? So,
I
I'm feeling that.
100% agree. And at least this is my experience. I have fallen in love with my body because
Mm,
of just the strength.
yeah.
I'm moving in shapes that I've never moved in before. And I
Mm,
think that the activation of the sexuality and sensuality for me, you know, it
yeah.
is for me. It's like I
Mm,
get to enjoy myself for myself's sake. It
yeah.
feels like part of the self-care ritual.
Well, talking of rituals, do you have a ritual or a routine?
Not really. It used to be quite into a morning routine, um,
Mm,
um, but it changes based on what I need. So for sure, within my practice, there will be journaling, there will be meditating, there will be walking. I would say that those three things are pretty consistent. Sometimes I'll do oracle cards, sometimes I'll do Kundalini, other times I will incorporate stretching. So it really just depends on what my body needs, actually.
Okay. Well, I don't know the answer to this, but I know you're going to have a great one. How do you celebrate yourself?
Oh, so I love celebration now, and in its most simple terms, I will celebrate myself by allowing myself to viscerally feel like excited, happy, appreciation. You know, in
Yeah.
the work that I do, often we'll say celebrate, and somebody will they'll send a text message saying, I'm celebrating this. But how often do we send a text message saying, I'm celebrating this, but there's no feeling? It's like you're saying it, it's a tick box exercise. So for me, I'm going to create the space so I can be in deep appreciation and gratitude, so I can feel it in my body. And as I'm feeling it, like that's the party at the most basic level. And then I think that I give myself permission now as well. I have with my team, with certain friends, to really be like, this is amazing. And I think that in the past, I would have kept that to myself because I feel like you don't want to be too much. You don't want to be this. It's like, no, I'm really proud of this. No, I'm really proud of me. No, we did this. And so I just sharing the vibes is a celebration for me. I don't really do stuff like go to a hotel or treat myself to a nice dinner. It's not that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I love that. And also sometimes you can book these things and do these things and still not really be present. So it's lovely that you're able to get in touch with, okay, I'm viscerally feeling this. I'm going to celebrate it in any way. And you know what? You're right. We keep ourselves small because we've been conditioned to do that. And the more we see and hear people, particularly Black women, I will say, celebrating themselves and saying, I'm excited about this, it's catching, isn't it? It's infectious, you know? So,
Definitely.
yeah, I think that's wonderful. Wonderful. Which tune instantly makes you want to get up and dance?
I Feel Love. Sam Smith and Donna Summer. I love it. That's my
Okay.
theme tunes. Yeah. I
Okay.
feel
Well, I'll add that
love.
to
Yeah, it's good.
I'm really glad you're singing. I'm getting more and more people singing on this podcast. It's great. Um, okay, I'll add that to our season 7 Spotify playlist for
Yeah.
Menopause Whilst Black. And last question, final question.
Mm.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to anyone listening to us right now?
I have a affirmation that I've been saying for the last 13 years. And I truly believe that affirmation has changed my entire life. I have it written up around my house. I've got the initials tattooed on my wrist. I've actually got it written on my jumper. So it says, faith plus action equals miracles. And it's really the invitation to live your life through that affirmation. Faith is about belief. It's about believing in yourself. It's about believing in your dreams. It's about trusting. And action is about moving in alignment with that dream, moving in alignment with that belief. And the more that you do that, the more the universe will surprise and delight you with miracles beyond what you could possibly ever imagine.
That's incredible. I love that. I feel as you were talking, I'm thinking, well, I'm listening to you, but also I'm thinking I'm going to send this recording to my children, both my
Wow.
daughters. it's bigger than manifestation. It's the
Mm.
doing, it's the action, but ultimately it's believing it will happen.
Mm.
So thank you so much for your time, Suzy.
Thank you for
Thank you
having me.
for talking to me. I'm sure that your thoughts and your life will resonate with so many people. If people want to talk to you, to contact you, where can they find you? Where do you hang out? Not physically, obviously,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Come over to find me on Instagram. It's probably my most common hangout, and that's Suzy
Mhm.
SUZY_Ashworth. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank
Oh, that's been
you.
absolutely brilliant. Suzy is an absolute inspiration. When I said I was ready to vote for her, I wasn't joking. I wasn't joking at all. I feel like she was the right person to end with, I think. There's just something vibrant and exciting and, giving us so much to look forward to. She's certainly got a handle on what's going on with her. I will say that these episodes are all individuals are having their own experience of menopause. And it's really important that whatever you hear on these episodes is backed up by your own research looking for you, because just because one thing works for someone doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for someone else. So do be aware of that. I did actually look up 75 medium. I went looking for 75 soft. It doesn't look soft to me, so props to Suzy for doing the medium one. But if you're interested in trying any kind of program like that, please check in with your doctor first. Check in with your check that you are fit and healthy, so that you can so that you don't injure yourself, or you don't damage yourself. Yeah, I won't be doing it anytime soon, but yeah, props to Suzy and good luck to you as well. So, yes, it's a Sunday evening. I've got my chamomile tea. I've had a quiet day indoors, sewing and um, I'm listening to, I've binge listened to Stanley Tucci's Taste on Audible. I shied away from Audible for a while. I used to think that was cheating. It wasn't reading. But honestly, I've gotten through so many books listening to Audible. Um, I'm also um, reading Dr. Annabelle's book, Divided. I'm coming to the end of it now. I'm someone who reads religiously every morning. Um, and I set my timer. So I set my timer for 11 minutes, 11 seconds. Allow me. It's just something I do. And I read a bit of whatever book I'm on. And then I read a book that is completely different. So I'm also reading what's it called? Blood Rights by N.E. Davenport, which is a kind of Afrofuturistic fantasy book. And I'm also loving that too. I wanted to do more reading, and I can't read at night because I'm too tired and I end up falling asleep. So that works for me. What are you reading? How do you consume? How do you read your books? I mention it because one of the things that 75 soft, medium, and hard say is about reading 10 pages of a book. And I thought, oh, I do that. I'm already doing it. So, yeah. But the advice around getting outside and going for a walk and moving your body, always move your body every day if you can. Walking is supposed to be the best thing you can do for menopause. If you do nothing else, get some daylight in your eyes, get yourself out moving, and then you can take it from there. I've just came off an Instagram live on Menopause Whilst Black, talking about the Joy Retreat. The Joy Retreat Barbados is the world's first retreat for Black women in any stage of menopause. And I am hosting our second retreat next year, 2025, from the 28th of April to the 5th of May. And there are 6 spaces left. There are 10 spaces in all, and 4 places have gone already. I have extended the 3-month payment plan until the 15th of November. So that's in a few days' time. So if you want to take advantage of the 3-month payment plan, and you're a Black woman who wants to join us, the payment plan is at no extra cost. So you don't pay an extra fee just because you've, extended it. That's my gift to you. So if you're interested in joining us in Barbados, a safe space for us to relax, listen to the ocean, we do yoga, we eat meals together, we journal together, we learn to meditate, and we do so much more. Many people who went on the retreat before, it has a 5-star review, and all of them, 8 5-star review. It has 10 5-star reviews, let's be clear. All my first Joy Seekers cohort talk about how transformative being in a space, being in a communion with Black women in Barbados was. Email me, hello@menopausewasblack.com, or hop onto the website menopausewasblack.com/the Joy Retreat. We have a new Instagram account, the.joyretreat, or you can have a look at Menopause Was Black as well. That's it for now, I think. Yes, it is. So it remains for me to say to you to look after yourself. I'm recording this after the orange one became president, and we're all, well, if you're in my circles, you're not surprised, but many people were rooting for Kamala, rooting for the other side, and I have lots of thoughts on that I'm not going to share now, but I will say that the news is difficult right now. It's hard, and so it's important that you are also trying harder to look after yourselves. Yes, if you want to listen to the news, of course, keep up to date, donate, march, do what works for you, but also make sure that you look after yourself so that you can rest and come back, because the world needs us whole and it needs us healthy. And in order to do so, we need to be gentle with ourselves. So I'll leave you with a plea to go gently. Drink your water, or in my case, chamomile tea. Rest. Get enough sleep. Move your body. Wear your SPF. All of that good stuff. And hug someone you love. Tell the people you love that you love them. Give them their flowers whilst they're here. All right. You take care, lovelies, and I'll speak soon. Okay. Bye.